Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So I had made a video on what are the things to remember when making arrangements. Now some people had seen that video, some people might have not seen that video. I'll put the video link in the description below, you can check it out. Now after seeing that video, some people said that they have made a small mistake wherein they have added succulents of different light requirements. Now, luckily, they did not use haworthias. They had used the same variety of echeverias, just like over here how I've used them. Echeveria Onslow, Echeveria Snow Bunny, and then I have Echeveria Green Ice. So these are the three succulents that do not require direct sunlight. They prefer indirect bright light. They can easily get burnt in, even in morning direct sunlight. Whereas I have two other succulents, Red Hall and Zargoza, which prefer morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. Now, if you have a situation like this wherein you have mixed two different light requirement succulents like either direct sunlight or indirect sunlight, it's absolutely okay. Now, it depends. If you want, you can take out the succulent, but if you do not want to disrupt the arrangement, let's say someone has given you as a gift and you do not want to spoil the arrangement, then the best what you can do is just keep them in indirect bright light. Whether the succulent requires direct sunlight, it will still do quite well in indirect bright light as well. The only thing is that you might not achieve those really intense colors on the ones that require direct sunlight. But even if you're going to keep this entire pot in indirect bright light, it will do quite well. So you do not need to be worried. The succulent will still do quite well in indirect bright light as well. Or you can keep it under a shade cloth, a green shade cloth, or a polycarbonate sheet. You can give it filtered sunlight as well. It's absolutely fine. You do not need to be worried. The only thing is that if the succulent has a different requirement in terms of watering and in terms of dormancy and non-dormancy, if that applies in your location, then yes, you will have to move the succulents, because otherwise that can damage or harm the other succulents. But when it comes to light, indirect bright light is the safest option. The only disadvantage is that you will not be able to achieve those really strong colors. But other than that, it's absolutely okay. But let's say, for example, you had an aguides in this arrangement, then I would say take out the aguides. Or let's say if you had an haworthia in this arrangement, then I would say take out the haworthia or the aguides. It's better to put them in another individual pot. But if it's only related with light, then it's absolutely okay. Even if it is a succulent that requires direct sunlight, you can still keep it in indirect bright light as well. It will do quite well. It will not stretch. It is going to do quite well. The only thing that I said, the colors will be missing. Now guys, it's pretty simple. Also, a lot of people ask me, how do we water such arrangements? It is pretty simple. Now you can see this is not a very congested arrangement. It has a lot of space. So what I tend to usually do is I tend to either water at a spot wherein there are no succulents. Like for example, how I tend to do it for my leaf propagation. I can make a small little hole in the center and start watering in between, or wherever there is space, because my arrangements are not very compact. They are not very clustered, so I have enough space. So even if I don't have a thin nozzled bottle, I can still water it like this because there is ample amount of space, and I can water this arrangement without dropping any water on the leaves. Let me show it to you once again. As you can see, the bottle does not have a very thin nozzle, but still I can very safely water my arrangement because there is a lot of space. But let's say that you have not made this arrangement, but somebody has gifted you maybe for Christmas or probably for the holidays. Somebody has given you a gift and it is completely compact, it's completely clustered, there is no space at all anywhere. So then what you'll have to do is you'll have to use the narrow nozzle of the bottle and then start watering it, because no matter how compact the arrangement is, there is going to be little space somewhere or the other wherein you can just push the thin nozzle in between. Like for example, let's say that there were succulents over here and it was completely occupied. Even in the center there were succulents and it was completely a clustered succulent, a very tight arrangement. Then you just find a very small little spot anywhere and start emptying the entire water container until the water starts passing through the drain hole. For example, over here, if you find a little bit of space in the corner, you can start watering with a very narrow nozzled bottle, and you have to water it until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Once the water start passing through a drain hole, that indicates that you have done a complete watering. Again guys, please do not just mist or moisten the upper layer of soil. That is not going to be enough. Your succulents will start to get dehydrated at some point. You have to do a complete watering. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.